Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a super fascinating, completely normal part of life, and that is growing up. We're going to completely demystify how our human bodies grow, how they change, and how they eventually prep for the future. I am so excited to guide you through this because honestly, learning how our amazing bodies work is one of the most empowering things you can do.
So, to get us started, I want you to take a second and really think about something. How do you think a boy or a girl actually changes as they grow? I mean, maybe you've noticed yourself getting a bit taller lately. Or, maybe you have older siblings or cousins and you've noticed their voices dropping, or they just suddenly look a lot more grown up. What kind of changes have you personally seen?
If you've ever caught yourself thinking, man, I wonder how my body's going to change as I grow up, let me just tell you, you are absolutely not alone. It is perfectly normal, super healthy, and honestly incredibly common to be curious about what happens to us as we get older. We all have those moments of wondering what's next.
And there's a really beautiful reason for that. We are all on this massive, continuous journey. Literally every single person on Earth goes through this progression from being a baby to a kid to a teenager and then eventually an adult. And a huge, totally essential part of that journey to adulthood is the body developing so that it's actually able to reproduce. But what does the word reproduction actually mean in this context? Well, let's define it. Human reproduction is a process that requires the sperm from a male and the egg from a female to produce offspring, which is just a fancy scientific word for children. The whole reason humans even have reproductive systems in the first place is to be able to pass on life to the very next generation.
All right, let's jump into section 1, the hardware. We're going to get into the reproductive organs explained.
We're going to start right here with the male reproductive system. Keeping things super scientific and straightforward, there is a whole network of specific organs working together down in the lower part of the body. Think of your body kind of like a supercomputer. Just like a computer has hardware to make it run, our bodies have these specialized organs designed to do some truly incredible jobs.
Let's break down those key parts. The male system includes the testes, the sperm duct, which you can kind of think of as a tiny little highway, the urethra, which is a tube that allows fluids to exit the body, and the penis. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is this. The main job of this entire system is to produce sperm. And that magic? It happens specifically inside the testes, which hold all those male reproductive cells.
Okay, shifting gears. Let's see how this builds our understanding by looking at the female reproductive system. The female body has a completely different set of specialized hardware, and it's designed for a very specific, amazing purpose.
The key parts for the female system include the ovaries, the oviduct, which acts as a passageway for the egg, the uterus, which is this incredibly strong muscular organ, and the vagina. Just like the male testes produce sperm, the female ovaries are the special organs that contain and release eggs, which are also called ova. This is the female reproductive cell that's required to make an offspring.
Now that we've mapped out both systems, let's do a quick knowledge check. Think back to the male and female organs we literally just talked about. Are all the reproductive parts located inside the body? Yep, if you guessed no, you hit the nail on the head. When we compare them side by side, there's a big difference. In the male system, some parts, like the testes and the penis, are actually located outside the body. But in the female system, all of those reproductive parts, the ovaries, the uterus, the whole shebang, are safely tucked away entirely inside the body. Let's move on to section 2, the transition. What exactly is puberty? Usually, right around the ages of 8 to 14, every single boy and girl starts going through puberty. It's basically your body's natural way of waking up these reproductive systems. It's how you transition from a child into an adult so that one day you'll have the ability to reproduce. It's a completely healthy, universal transition that we all share. And during this time, a ton of amazing changes start happening. Some of these are shared by both boys and girls. You might notice sudden growth spurts. Maybe your skin gets a little oily and you get some pimples, and you start growing new body hair under your armpits and in the pubic area. But other changes, those are entirely unique. For boys, voices deepen, facial hair starts growing, and their testes begin producing sperm. For girls, breasts develop, hips get a bit wider, and they experience something called menstruation.
Which naturally brings up a fantastic question. And honestly, one of the core things we want to clear up today. Why do girls menstruate, but boys don't? I mean, if we're all growing up, why is this one specific change only happening to girls?
Well, it all comes down to basic biology. It's all about preparing the body for an egg.
Remember those female organs we looked at earlier? The female body has a uterus, and its entire design is to safely carry and grow an offspring. Menstruation is directly tied to the female body releasing an egg and preparing that uterus to host it. Boys just don't have a uterus or eggs. Their reproductive job is simply to produce sperm, which is why they don't experience menstruation at all.
Let's look a little bit closer at how this actually works. The menstrual cycle is this beautifully natural repeating process. It usually happens over a timeline of about 28 days, kind of acting as a monthly schedule for how the female body preps for a potential fertilized egg.
So let's break down these steps. Days 1 to 5 are when menstruation happens. Think of it kind of like preparing a cozy guest room. If no guest, meaning a fertilized egg, arrives that month, the body just simply clears out that thick, plush lining of the uterus and starts over. It's completely normal. Then, from days 6 to 10, that lining repairs itself. Between days 11 and 18, ovulation happens. That is when the ovary releases a brand new egg. Finally, from days 19 to 28, the lining of the uterus thickens right back up again, just in case a fertilized egg needs a safe place to attach. And if it doesn't, the cycle just resets and beautifully starts all over again at day 1. Now, because all of these changes are happening, it is so important to take care of our bodies. There's a great question from our source material that asks, what should a menstruating female do to prevent infection of her reproductive organs? The answer? Good hygiene, for sure. Washing regularly, using clean hygiene products, and just taking special care of your body is absolutely essential for everyone as they navigate puberty. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture with this critical thinking question. What will happen if any one part of the human reproductive system fails to function? Well, think of the body like a sports team or a really complicated machine. Every single part, from the testes to the ovaries to the ducts and the uterus, they all have to work together. If one single part fails, the whole system might not be able to successfully produce offspring. It really is a miracle of teamwork. If there's one massive takeaway I want you to grab from this explainer today, it's this. Growing up is a completely normal, universal journey. Everyone experiences it. Whether you're dealing with voice cracks, a massive sudden growth spurt, or starting menstruation, these are all perfectly natural, incredibly healthy signs that your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do to get you ready for adulthood. So, I'm going to leave you with this final two-part thought to chew on. Why is it so important for humans to reproduce? And, knowing everything you now know about the incredible hardware and transitions of your body, how will you take care of your amazing self as you grow? Take pride in your health, stay curious, and remember, growing up is an adventure that every single one of us shares. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep asking those great questions.